Hi, Senator Vance. Do you have any reaction to Mark Robinson news? Senator Vance?
JD, why are you running for Mark Robinson? That's Trump's guy. That's Trump's MLK.
I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King times 2.
Martin Luther King times 2. Now, I don't know how you quantify units of Martin Luther King. But if that's 1 Martin Luther King times 2, Mark is 2 times that. Now, if 1 Martin Luther King equals 2 liters, then Mark is 4 liters. What possibly could have Martin Luther King times 2 done to make Vance run away like that? I mean, what could have been worse than calling for your political rivals to be executed? Remember this?
Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity.
I see that cross in the background, and this is what I figured went on in right-wing Christian churches.
Let's say I was the governor and had a willing legislature. We could pass a bill saying you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason.
Mark Robinson,
For me,
no
there's
abortions.
no compromise on abortion.
No
It
compromise.
makes no difference to me why or how that child ended up in that womb.
He doesn't care.
Abortion in this country is not about protecting the lives of mothers.
Nope.
It's about killing a child because you aren't responsible enough to keep your skirt down.
Whoa!
Nobody anymore.
First saying it's a woman's fault when they're raped. And then
30 years ago, my wife and I made a very difficult decision. We had an abortion.
making old Yolanda get an abortion. I guess Yolanda wasn't wearing a skirt. Yolanda an abortion? Sure do, Mark. Yolanda take my car or yours? What has Mark Robinson done now? A candidate the Democrats couldn't have designed better if they did it in a lab, to run in North Carolina as a Republican. What has he done now? Mark Robinson. Did I mention he wants to kill his political rivals? Mark Robinson, who spent all his free time at a porn shop buying bootleg porn. And no, I'm not talking about that bootleg porn where when a man falls in love with a pair of jeans, he makes sweet love to the leg of it. I'm not talking about that. That's called Dick and Denim or DD. I've heard. Yolanda some bootleg porn? No, I don't, Mark. No, I don't. Because there's a 99% chance. Keep your skirt down or it's your fault. There's a 99% chance if he was in that porn shop buying something bootleg, not off the shelf, it was illegal. And being at a porn shop so much that you're a regular customer, that's not bad enough. But then being a deadbeat, buying bootleg porn, he owed the owner of this store $25. I guess he never paid for the porn. So this guy went and made a music video about how Lieutenant Governor owes him money. This is the Republican Party. This is the owner of the porn shop. But we still haven't got to the latest of what Mark Robinson did. I feel like Santa Claus with this list. The naughty list here, right? 450-pound Mark Robinson attacked gold winner Simone Biles.
I'm wore out, I'm tired. But here it is. Whenever I think about being wore out, being tired, somebody can get this on their phone and probably end up on Facebook with it. I ain't no little weak gymnast that quits when you go and get stuff. My generation is cut from a different cloth.
And that is a large cloth.
I don't quit when the going gets tough.
And that is a large cloth going after a gold winner. An Olympic gold winner. 450 pounds. That is not even what this episode is about. That is not even the latest. Yolanda run for governor? I don't think you should with your past, Mark.
Robinson posted the movie Black Panther was, quote, created by an agnostic Jew to pull the shekels out of your Sforza pockets, using the Yiddish words for money and black.
He referred to the victims of the Parkland school shooting as spoiled little bastards.
He says the moon landing in 1969 may have been fake. He also says there is a secret ruling cabal that is part reptile.
And said that Beyonce is satanic.
Amazing. Good job, North Carolina Republicans. What has Mark Robinson done now? What has he done? This bootleg porn buying, political rival killing, anti-Semitic, Beyonce hating, school shooter survivor attacking, Yolanda aborting, Yolanda, I don't think so, American gold medalist, shit talker candidate for governor in North Carolina. North Carolina, a state Trump must win. What has he done now? What's that? Oh, he called himself the N-word. That doesn't sound too bad. Why are we filming a show? I think the rule is if you're black, you can do it, right? Just like I can call myself a cracker-ass cracker because I'm white. Oh, wait a sec. Oh, that N-word.
And Robinson, the Republican nominee for governor, quote, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board more than a decade ago, in which he referred to himself as a black Nazi and expressed support for reinstating slavery.
Yikes! He called himself a Nazi on a porn website message board. First off, you have to be insane, all right? Me and my friend talked about this for some reason, but you have to be insane if you stick around on a porn site and write comments and talk on the message board. Those are red flags, my friend. And on this porn site, while calling himself a black Nazi on the message board, off topic, I don't know. He said he wanted to reinstall slavery. This guy right here, Yolanda B. Kanye? Yolanda, I do.
We're talking about Mark Robinson. Right now, he is the state's lieutenant governor, and he is no stranger to controversy in the past, like with alleged Holocaust denial. He's backed policies like calling to arrest transgender women who use women's bathrooms. But this new report on CNN says Robinson posted for years on a porn site's message board, referring to himself as a perv and a black Nazi, and allegedly fetishizing transgender people, saying he enjoyed watching pornography with them.
Yikes! So I guess we know what was on that bootleg. That $25 bootleg he never paid for. White, black, brown, green, whatever color there is just something about putting this hat on your head, right? It just makes it so you can't help yourself. You can't like yourself. And I mean, bravo to CNN for this investigation. The way they stitched this all together, this is Charlie. This is Charlie level of research. Many of Robinson's comments were gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. They were made between 2008 and 2012 on Nude Africa, a pornographic website that includes a message board. Sexy. By the way, here's a life tip from MJ. Here's a life tip from the Chud Report. Even if you're not writing crazy stuff like this, like reinstalling slavery as a black Nazi, even if you're not writing that, don't post comments on porn sites, all right? Don't post comments on message boards. Just trust me. Comments were made under the username Mini Soldier. Okay, I'm starting to see why this guy's like this. A moniker Robinson used frequently online and in reference to his penis. Okay, I added the last part, but he did. Robinson listed his full name on his profile for Nude Africa, because why wouldn't he, right? As well as an email address he used for numerous websites across the internet for decades. CNN is reporting only a small portion of Robinson's comments on the websites, given their graphic nature.
I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are
MLK
Martin
of our
Luther
time.
King times 2.
Martin Luther King times 2. Martin Luther King on steroids. The Republican Party presidential nominee, this guy right here, says he is Martin Luther King on steroids. Martin Luther King times 2. 4 leaders of Martin Luther King. If you have 10 Martin Luther Kings, that's like, I'm doing math in my head, that's 40 Martin Luther Kings. If you have 100 Martin Luther Kings, that's 400 Martin Luther Kings. You get where I'm going. That's a lot of Martin Luther Kings for a guy that says slavery is not bad. Direct quote here. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring it back. I would certainly buy a few. Martin Luther King times 2. Right here. These are the polls in North Carolina. Okay, stop booing her. This isn't the poll episode. This is the poll episode. The poll episode is this Sunday, and looking at these polls, it looks juicy, right? I think you should tune in. Okay, calm down. Stop booing. Okay. But I bet Jessica, the only sane person on Fox News, I bet she has a pretty good take on this.
And what's a really interesting state in there? North Carolina, which is a big target for the Democrats. And we just found out an hour ago that the lieutenant governor there, Mark Robinson, who's running for governor,
Never heard of him.
who Donald Trump called...
Jesse said he never heard of him. Stop the clip. Should I be like Sam Cedar? You guys ever watch? Stop the clip. He plays a clip for 5 seconds. Stop it. Jesse said he never heard of him. I never heard of the guy. Now, we all know Jesse's just being cute. That's what he does. Jesse's just a cutie. He just does cute things. Like the time he flattened his intern's tires so he could corner her and have sex with her. He was just being cute. He was just using his position over her in power to take advantage of that situation. It's just cute. I don't know Mark Robinson. Yolanda have sex?
All right,
And
Lieutenant
oh,
Governor,
look,
thank you so much for joining Jesse Waters.
there's
Prime
Mark
Time.
Robinson right on his show. But let's get back to Jessica.
that the lieutenant governor there, Mark Robinson, who's running for governor,
Never heard of him.
who Donald Trump called Martin Luther King on steroids, posted on a porn forum called Nude Africa that he's a black Nazi, expressed support for reinstating slavery, and detailed his sexual arousal from memories of peeping on women in public gyms, and he still fantasizes about it. He also has an Ashley Madison account.
How dare you kink shame?
Ha! Gutfield.
That's a great reaction. So Josh Stein was likely to win that race anyway. If they get Mark Robinson to drop out, his name is still on the ballot. But this makes North Carolina even more in play.
That's what I'm saying,
for
but it's not a
Democrats.
poll
And this,
episode,
again, is evidence
Jessica.
of the type of candidates that Donald Trump thinks are good for the country. Martin Luther King on steroids, someone who says he's a black Nazi.
But he would obviously.
But what? Are you guys kidding me?
Let's take the obvious here.
Yeah.
Do you think Trump actually knew this
No.
guy was on
Yes.
porn sites?
My point is that Donald
Yes, I
Trump
do.
likes anyone who likes him, and he doesn't bother to
That's
do the
called
work.
being human.
No, it's not. A lot of people like me who I don't like in return.
I feel the same way, Jessica. God, why do they have her on there? She's the best, right? Gutfield sneaks in there. He says, "Don't you kink shame. Don't you dare kink shame." Greg Gutfield is by far the funniest, most talented Republican comedian of our time. And no, that is not a compliment. Don't kink shame from this party right here. This party that supports Mark Robinson. The party where people like him thrive. Don't you kink shame a guy who says it's a 13-year-old girl's fault if she gets raped because she has a skirt on. That's the punchline to Gutfield's joke. Robinson and his team didn't get back to CNN for 2 full days, while his team tried to craft some kind of piss-poor response. This 450-pound black man, who is a harder worker than gold medalist Simone Biles. When he looks in the mirror, this is what he sees. That's who he thinks he is. But when it comes time to craft a response to being a black Nazi who wants to reinstill slavery, he no longer sees this guy in the mirror. No, he sees this guy.
Clarence Thomas famously once said he was the victim of a high-tech lynching. Well, it looks like Mark Robinson is too, by a man who refuses to stand on stage and debate.
Mark Robinson, a guy who says he's a black Nazi, quoting Clarence Thomas, who left his pubes all over Nita Hill's coke because he thought that was funny. He picked that quote to use. High-tech lynching. Yolanda, Democrat to win North Carolina? Yes, I do. The Chud Report.
Trump is the new Adolf.
I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King times 2.